Hey everyone, welcome back to the Soccer Plug as we're taking a look today at the Manchester City defensive revitalization or renaissance, whichever one sounds better to you guys. But it all starts actually with a 5-2 early thumping early in the season at Leicester City, because that was the real turning point where it was like, okay, team right now as it stands isn't good enough, it needs to be a signing made. And then after that was the purchase of Ruben Dias from Benfica. And when they made it, it was uncertain how he would settle in right away coming from the Portuguese league, definitely not one of the best leagues per se, but, boy, has he ever settled in. He's had a similar effect to the, as they say, the Virgil van Dijk effect that he had at Liverpool upon his arrival in that January. And I like what Guardiola has done to help ease his team in his transition, Diaz that is, as well as the team's transition overall to playing more solidified football at the back. He transitioned to more of a double pivot with Rodri and either Gundogan or Fernandinho playing together to help City get their confidence back defensively after that defeat. And while it led to some draws and lower scoring victories immediately after that, it's had a profound impact, at this to where we are at this part of the season, because how they transition, back to now formation more where they're playing with a single pivot and two more number 8s each side. They've only conceded 13 goals all season in the Premier League, and 5 of those were the Leicester game, and 6 in their last 20 in all competitions, with only 2 players, James Maddison and Jamie Vardy, being the only players to score from open play. And, Stones of Diaz, it's been, said, there's just been a brick wall at the back. John Stones has been, in the form of his life, and, fair play to him. It's a great story. I'd love to see someone, coming back from, some, how would you say, just difficult times. And he's been, now playing world class. And it's the two of them together. They seem to love the art of defending, at least Diaz does. And he's, brought that to John Stones and has really inspired him to, become a totally different player than the one, that we saw last year and almost left the club, at the end of the transfer window. João Cancelo is a total package of a player, fitting into whatever role Guardiola wants from him. After an adjustment period from a big transfer last year, he's been one of the most creative and consistent players, whether he's playing at right back or left back, or basically popping up in the central midfield, when they're in possession. Kyle Walker, similarly, has been, my money, the second best defensive right back in the Premier League behind Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And he might be first if it wasn't for those occasional lapses of concentration he has. But he's, been in great form earlier in the season before, he's contracted COVID, but now he's back. Nathan Ake looks like a solid, good rotational piece, to fill in wherever they need him and can do a solid job. And we're not even mentioning the reigning best defender at the club since he was purchased, that being Aymeric Laporte, who struggled with injuries a bit this season, and he's going to find it hard to get back into this team upon his return to fitness. But that's got to be a great feeling for Manchester City to know that their, quote-unquote backup center back is Aymeric Laporte, who's, probably been the second best center back in the league, since his arrival. And they're doing this all really without, mostly a true recognized left back, because Cancelo's been playing the majority of the games there. Ake's played there. Zinchenko's just got a run in, and then there's been the occasional Mendy, but for my money, Mendy has actually been, the poorest of the bunch to have featured this season. All in all, Rodri's, seems to settle in. He's had some much better performances with the occasional not so great game, but he can, as long as if he can just produce what Fernandinho is still doing at age 35, he's been back to his best, since he's been playing in center defensive midfield. And shout out to Zinchenko, as I briefly mentioned there. He's come in, played the last 3 or 4 out of the 5 games now in some of the biggest games of the season and performed admirably. And that's all you could ask from, a squad rotational piece like him. All in all, I'll be really looking forward to see how Man City progress the rest of the season. That's it, though, for this one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.